Alright, so thank you so much for being here actually to evaluate my presentation. I'm Arslan Khalid, PhD student in Civil Environment Engineering. This is my first year, and today I'm really excited to present my product LEDX filter, a readily deployable cartridge for lead removal from water distribution pipelines. And we have a strong collaboration with University of Texas at Austin. We have collaborators there working together. So, according to World Health Organization, waterborne disease is the world's leading killer. About 3.6 million people die each year from waterborne disease. That's equal to the city of Los Angeles. And at the same time, half of the world's hospital beds are occupied with patients suffering waterborne disease. It's not enough, but every 20 seconds a child dies because of this disease. Means my next 5 minutes of presentation, about 15 children will die. So it's tragic and very sad. Among different contaminants, lead is one of them, which is called lead poisoning. And lead is not a highly poisonous metal found in drinking water, and it's not affecting the adult but as well as the children. And I don't need to actually give you the much stats about what are the health impacts. It's actually proven and seen already. We have not forgotten about the Flint, Michigan crisis, very famous case, where 6 to 1200 children were exposed to high lead levels, and about 10 people were killed because of the outbreak of Legionnaires' disease as well. And similarly, the case is not different from Massachusetts as well. About 100% of the tested schools in Massachusetts have shown lead in the drinking water faucets, fixtures. And across the US, you can see the dot spots. We have around 18 million people who could be affected by this disease. So what should we do now? First, to understand how the lead gets into your drinking water. Although the water utilities, they supply water according to EPA standards, but still leads get into your drinking water because of the previous old pipeline structure. Prior to 1915, the service pipelines were made of lead. Once they have cooled, they leach out the lead into your drinking water. So in such a way, you are getting drinking water polluted with lead. So what's the solution? The LEDX filter is a solution for this first kind of device designed for water distribution pipelines. It's readily deployable, it can be immediately deployed in form of cartridge, which is prepared by electrospun polymer nanocomposite. Basically what we have two ingredients, electrospun polymer fibers prepared by electrospinning, very famous or common process, which is scalable as well, embedded with carbon nanotubes and iron oxide nanoparticles. Once they are embedded, they have a higher selectivity towards lead and can absorb lead. So just to show you the difference, what's polymer and what's polymer nanocomposite, difference is shown with the gray color and the white color. How our application product can be applied, either it can be applied at the entry of the house to secure the whole house, even for the cooking, washing, bathing, or at the end of, at the point of drinking, point of use, which is called point of use drinking water plant, so under the sink in the kitchen. Why this is required? Because it's the immediate solution, because we cannot, it is estimated about, it will take around $250 billion across the US to replace the whole infrastructure system, and that's not going to happen overnight. That's how we need it. We need the immediate solution and short-term solution for this problem. So this fiber structure is actually porous. That's how it provides you higher flow rate, not obstructing much flow rate in the pipes, and it's also endurable. That's why it can sustain higher pressure water flow. And it requires no energy as compared to other technologies. It's also compact in size, and it can be replaced, installed. It's flexible in application. Either you have fittings, fixtures, or faucets, whatever the design you have, you just insert the cartridge and use it. Most importantly, I'm just focusing on the lead now, but in future maybe we come up with maybe arsenate issues or something else according to geographic location. We can tailor these polymers as well as nanomaterials to encounter those challenges. And once the material has been exhausted with the saturation, because the principle is the adsorption process, so it can be reused and regenerated off-site again and again. In terms of market, we have a 10 billion US overall market, but first we will start with the 6 to 10 million US homes which have proven the lead pipes. For example, according to Massachusetts Boston Water and Sewer Commission, the map shows some of the images of the homes which have still lead pipes in Boston area. So you can press it online and find which homes still have lead pipes. That could be our one applicable market. Other one we can also target is schools, homes, private, particularly the well owners, because in wells you have different requirements, you have different pollutants as well. In terms of market competitor, luckily we don't have any direct market competitors because of the requirement of our project. But indirect competitors could be different, and they are well-branded, famous names as well. But how we are going to compete with them? So LEDX filter provides greater benefits as compared to others, like no energy requirement, it's no energy demand, it's a long-term, long-life process because of the absorption capacity. No chemical input you are feeding as compared to RO or acute carbon. No heat requirement as in distillation columns. Filtration is low in other processes like distillation, reverse osmosis. And efficiency of some of the processes is not very effective as compared to LEDX filter. Because particularly whatever the problem we face, we just use the carbon filter, that's not the good way. We need a specific solution for each problem. So that's our technology development plan. We have worked on the research phase. We have completed this, we know the theory behind it. What we need is to find the long life, effective life of these cartridges. We need the proof of concept phase. And afterwards, what resources we have a strong team, we have good industrial experience, some of our colleagues as well. And research facilities we have, and process can be scalable. And what we are looking for is a funding. Thank you so much.
So it doesn't. How long does it last? Let's say the one that you put in, prior to going to a house.
It's still, since we are in the proof of concept phase, so we cannot give you the exact. But what we believe, it's going to last longer than others because the principle, how the works, the carbon filters or the reverse osmosis, they are very dense membranes. What happens once the per flow, the clogging is there, falling is there, and it clogs the filter. In our case, of course, still we are going to face less falling, less clogging, and adsorption is based on the adsorption, not on the size difference. So in solution, we are expecting in months or years. Other filtration, they need to be monthly or maximum 6 months they can run. Then you need to backwash it either the chemicals usage or the energy usage. But in our case, that's going to run for maybe around 1 year or more.
So, how much of the available lead are you purifying out? 100%?
It gives you percentage. What we find in the literature and we worked on is actually giving more than 90%.
That's impressive.
How does that compare with the competitors that you listed up there?
Of course, since the RO is actually works for everyone because the dense membrane. So maybe the RO will give you the more efficiency, but we have to compromise this. But we will get long life and high efficiency. Long life and less backwash. RO takes you more efficiency, but still it needs more frequent backwashing, and its life is also good. We can say definitely. But the filtration rate is low. It requires 40 bars, 30 bars of pressure. That's also a requirement. RO is not going to work on a simple pump. So we are not asking for any pumping energy requirement. We're not asking for the backwashing requirement.
So it's very, very porous, there's very little back pressure.
Yes, and not going to provide any back pressure or something. No, less pressure requirement.
So, and you mentioned it can be regenerated with chemicals?
Yes, we have not done so right now, but in literature we have definitely some proof, and it's established field, we will say. Particularly nanomaterials, nanotubes, many studies are available. So they use it some chemicals maybe for the regeneration of adsorbents, or some sort of microwaves can be used once it is exhausted.
So do you understand the mechanism of how the filter works? Is it covalently binding the lead? Is it absorbing? Is it sticking in a pore?
Yes, the polymer absorbing it.
How does it work?
Yes, so its main mechanism is the adsorptive removal or adsorption. So what's happening, our polymer is also porous somehow. Right? So it's providing us not only the support for nanomaterial, but also absorbing itself.
Okay,
Yeah, it's absorbing the lead,
Yeah,
right?
it's absorbing the lead.
And then you can recycle that polymer at some point in time.
Yeah, definitely, because it's the physical interaction, it's absorbed, and once we take it off-site, maybe through the microwave regeneration, also with the addition of some chemicals, the lead will remove out and you get your recovered your polymer.
Polymer, yeah. I think you can put it also in the polymers recycle chain too.
that's interesting.
Is it because it's polarized? Is that absorbs the polymer? Is it polarized? So that's how it absorbs the lead?
Yes, just one of them.
Yeah.
It can be polarized even, but currently what we are focusing in our project is just the surface area. Higher the surface area of the porous structure of polymer, more the lead will be absorbed.
Right,
Hmm.
okay.
It's a good idea that once, and definitely there are huge market of polymer research is available. So we just need to unify the application and use those research articles into our consideration. And maybe polarize the polymers or use some functional groups. And this is the initial idea of CNT and the iron oxide. And while working on these, we also got an ideas that maybe some sort of polymers which are like it's iron. We just use iron, it can show affinity towards the lead or other pollutants. So it can be separated through magnetic field as well.
Okay,
That's also different ideas that you put it in the water and just use the magnet to
Yeah.
separate it. So it absorbs lead, everything it settles down.
are you familiar at all with bubble point testing of filters? And integrity testing of filters, and clearance testing, all that kind of stuff?
Yes, in my master's program, as a chemical engineer, I have fabricated membranes, polymer membranes, and I have worked on all filtration experiments,
Okay.
bubble point testing. In our case, it won't be required, so I guess because it depends on the requirement of membrane, it's not in the micro.
I know in my world of GMP and manufacturing, we're required to bubble point test every filter we use to make sure it has integrity to it. It's a validation procedure that we do. It may be something that someone's gonna need you to analyze and study. And it just basically goes on how consistently you make your filters and because as I looked at your filters, it was very interesting. It's a mesh material, but there wasn't, you kind of have it shoved into a container. It's not really
Right,
consistent
flexible.
all the way through. It's very flexible. Which is good, because
Yes.
you are gonna have issues with flow rate, with crude and dirty water. I'm interested in understanding the capacity of it, because that's really the key, right? Is can you get all the filter out of that, can you get all the lead out of that water before it hits the house? Right, and so have you guys thought about looking at before and after and how much you can actually absorb out? Right, so like the average, contaminated water is gonna have X concentration of lead in it, whatever it is, right? And so you need to determine how much filter you need to make that go to zero, right?
And
And
the quantity of
exactly, the length of it, and you're gonna have flow rate issues, so there's a lot of engineering ahead, which is, that's what you
Yes.
guys do, which is
Yes.
fantastic. But,
I mean, yes, we are also looking for other challenges which are coming, how to control the flow rate without dropping pressure loss.
honestly, if you can find a way to get some carbon in this filter as well, then you're gonna take care of the infectious diseases, which is a lot of the issues with water contamination.
Right.
I know there's other filters and things out there. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to basically fix a house that's not gonna get fixed by anybody else except for your filter, right? Because no one's gonna go in there and place the little lead lines and everything else.
So is the customer the owner of that house?
Yeah, it is.
That's who the customer
That's
is?
the customer.
That's the target customer
Yes.
for you?
Yeah,
And,
first
and the, and the
Okay.
target company for him is Home Depot and Lowe's.
Right, so that's where you want it to be.
Absolutely.
Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you gotta prove the before and after and how big you need to get the
Yeah.
lead out. And as I talked to another group about in water, you need a lead test too to go with it. So people can identify they have a problem to get started with, other than just looking at a map. You can sell a
Yes.
very
Could be a-
inexpensive lead
yeah.
test to somebody.
Maybe a go-to-market strategy, give the lead test away.
Right, and then
Hard to
mail
be-
in for this, and here's the cartridges you would need based on the amount of lead that you have in your house. This is what we think you would need to take care
Customize
of
it.
that,
Yeah,
right?
we could do that.
Yes,
That's a
we
good
also
idea.
saw some cartridges or the strips which are
Yeah,
available.
that's what you want, the
Yes.
strips, they're very inexpensive.
Very inexpensive. So even once this is installed, and after some time, the customers can just verify themselves. Is it working fine or needs to be replaced?
Exactly,
Yeah, keep
exactly.
selling the tests.
And those are the razor blades.
Give
Right.
the first one away
Right.
for free and then you cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Jeez, that sounds like a familiar industry. So that's what I do, okay, I make tests. That's my industry.
And also regarding the certification, as you mentioned about the bubble point, I also searched about NSF certification. I guess it was 60 or 61, which
Yes,
is most common for the filters for the houses. So
Okay.
that's also the one of the requirement before it can be marketed in the market.
So I know we're probably running out of
Yeah.
time. How do you,
Less than-
one question, how do you manufacture this stuff and when do you do it?
Regarding the manufacturing,
Yeah, how do you manufacture that material, that polymer?
it's very simple. I mean, it's not as simple for us
It's
now.
simple for you, you're an
Yeah.
engineer.
But
Do you
now-
do that, I mean, do you need a big, like, manufacturing facility to make it, or?
Yes, that's the setup which is available in my lab, so I use it. And that's a small scale. So what happens, it's a syringe, and you take a small polymer composite or blend of composite, and you apply 10,000 voltage or 15,000 voltage in the tip, and you collect the polymer fibers on the collector. So you
Nice.
operate the distance, you operate the voltage, polymer concentration, viscosity, every parameters, and you get the fine diameters of fibers. And once we mix this with the nanoparticles or anything, we can obtain.
Nice.
Okay.
And this is just the batch scale, and it can be scalable. There are already electrospinner machines, which is highly scalable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good answer, thank you.
Excellent.
Nice job. Nice job.